Wentz Financial Group presents Zips Basketball Weekly with John Groce. Investment management for your lifetime. Brought to you by Akron Children's Hospital and Bryant Heating and Cooling. And now your host, Joe Dunn.
Hello everyone and welcome to Zips Basketball Weekly, brought to you all season long by the Wentz Financial Group. Well, the Zips right now, we're 9-5 overall, 2-2 in the Mid-American Conference. It's going to be a very busy week of Akron basketball. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But Coach, a nice win over Ball State and a tough loss up at Kent on Friday night. What are some of the positives we can take out of this week? Because it's going to be tough now for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I think obviously, and we've talked about this before, Joe, I just think the resiliency of our guys based on everything they've been through. We're not, where we need to be yet, or quite honestly, where we were before all these pauses. So we'll get there. I do think they've showed a lot of courage and resiliency, and they played with some toughness. And, we had to come from behind to beat Ball State and, fighting, scratching, clawing against Kent. We're not real sharp right now.
Yeah.
We've got to get sharper with our execution at both ends of the floor.
I would guess one of the positives, and you've talked about this, Coach, hopefully, knock on wood, the roster is stable now for the rest of the year. We can practice with a full complement of players.
Yeah, that's the silver lining, right?
Yeah.
That we get a chance to maybe have a little bit more continuity and stability and can continue to progress as long as we have the right attitude, the right disposition, the right mentality, stay together. And I think our guys have done that for the most part. So that's going to be a real key as we move forward.
Yeah.
But I think we certainly have a lot more ceiling. There's a higher ceiling for this team than what we're playing at. And I think we can get there. We just got to honor the process one day at a time. There's no shortcuts in this deal when you're trying to do something, at an elite level like we are. So you've got to honor every day, and you got to stack day after day after day and try to grow and improve.
Yeah. As you mentioned, the Zips with a nice 10-point win over Ball State. Let's go back to Rhodes Arena this past week. Watch highlights as the Zips get off to a little bit of a slow start, Coach. Ball State, I think, is an improved basketball team. They came out with a lot of energy.
Yeah, I really like their young guys. In particular, Sparks was terrific with 23 and 10. I mean, he was put on as good a freshman performance as I've seen thus far this year. Now, I haven't seen all the games, just more of the teams that we're preparing for and some of the others as a byproduct of that. But he was, I thought, just terrific. Their young guys played really well. Give our guys credit. We came back, storming back. You see Brian and I thought Castaneda made big shots throughout the game for us, Joe. Tough shots. There's Ali on a good drive, good physical drive, finishing. And, we finally got our footing a little bit and really battled and found a way to take the lead and pull away late.
I know you weren't happy, Coach. I think you called a timeout about 6-7 minutes into the game. They had a fast break right in front of you, called a timeout, got everybody together, and things kind of settled down, and that's when we played our best basketball.
Yeah, we struggled early, and I kind of thought that might be the case because we had just had some guys coming back for us. But we found our way. Again, our guys care. Their care factor's high, which is the most important thing. They care about winning. They care about each other. And that's huge, and you can build on that. But just once again, you used the phrase earlier, but sharpness. We just weren't real sharp, but we found the way.
Boy, great game by Xavier Castaneda, Coach. He did it all offensively, really gave you a spark.
He did, yeah. He's been playing both ends of the floor.
Yeah.
That's why I'm most proud of him. Really grading out high defensively at both ends, playing a lot of minutes for us. His effort level, the intensity that he plays at, is inspiring. He really competes. He's a really tough guy. And then lately he's been making shots and taking pretty good care of the basketball, which is what you really want from all guards. So he's playing at a high level right now, and he really continued that at Kent State as well.
Yes.
He's been kind of a silver lining in the cloud, individually speaking, with our personnel this past week during the Kent State game and the Ball State game.
You saw the halftime score. The Zips with a nice little run at the end of the first half, go down 36-33, and still down early in the second half. Then Castaneda, Brian Trimble, Michael Dawson comes off the bench with some threes. You really start playing well in the second half.
Yeah, I thought in the Ball State game we had pretty good bench production.
Yeah.
You're alluding to that, and that's important. You've got to be able to count on guys, and I thought those guys really gave us a lift, in particular Mike Dawson.
finally tied the score at, I believe, 48-48. And then Trimble with another dribble drive, and the Zips are up by 2 points, 50-48. I think that's our first lead in the second half.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Ball State led for the majority of the game. And again, I keep using that phrase, courage and resiliency, with our group, and we've had it really from the beginning of the season in that aspect, and the togetherness has been good. So that's allowed us to kind of fight through some things and find a way to get a couple wins here. You know, obviously, we'd like to be playing better. I think we will. But we've got to do it. You know, actions speak louder than words. We've got to play better than what we're playing. From an execution standpoint, we've got to be sharper.
Yeah, Ball State continued to hang around a little bit in the second half, but the Zips lead goes from 4-8. And then as Ball State getting an outstanding game from, as you mentioned, their freshman center, Peyton Sparks, they hang around a little bit. Then we start to really separate late in that second half.
Yeah, we did. We started to make some plays. And in particular, again, Castaneda and Brian made some really difficult shots, in particular in the second half. Here's one, Brian on a curl off an inbound play. Thought our inbound execution was terrific. We scored at almost 2 points per possession on our inbound plays and our after timeout plays. And when you win a game by 10 and you're plus 14 combined in ATOs and inbound plays, that's like special teams in football. We call it special teams, right? It's like punt team, kickoff coverage. It's no different. Those things matter. And certainly mattered against Ball State and was a real differentiator.
We're going to see Akron lead 78-69 with about 1:18 left to go. And as you said, Coach, we win that game 84-74. He had 4 players in double figures. Castaneda with 19, Trimble chips in with 19 also. Freeman with 14 points, 12 rebounds, and Dawson off the bench with 10. So good balanced scoring against Ball State.
Yeah, really good balance. Yeah. And we're different, you know, obviously than we were last year in particular, back to where we were in terms of being able to hit you from different guys. Right. You know, we could have, 4 guys in double figures. 1 or 2 guys could have a big night. Those same 2 guys, the next game it might be 2 other guys. Yeah. So you just don't know. And I think that makes us harder to prepare for. And potentially a little bit more versatile on offense.
Exactly. Zips win against Ball State. Now they don't have a whole lot of time to get ready for Kent State. We're going to go back to the Mack Center in Kent, watch highlights of that game from Friday night right after this.
The difference with Wentz Financial Group is that we do not have a cookie-cutter answer to any of our clients' needs. Every day is completely different in the market, and every client situation is unique. We value the opportunity and responsibility to manage the hopes and dreams of our 3,000 customers nationwide.
Come see the difference Wentz Financial Group can make for your financial future. Wentz Financial Group. Investment management for your lifetime.
This is my back before surgery, and then this was it after. These things are in my back right now, helping keep it straight so I get to go back to dance with my friends.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good to see you, Chloe. From my perspective, there is nothing that I wouldn't let you do. Really, all the credit for how well you're doing is just you and how hard you've worked to get back to where you are. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome back to Zips Basketball Weekly. Not a lot of turnaround time, Coach, after the Ball State win. You got, 2 games to get ready for the big rivalry game with Kent?
Yeah, 2 days. It's a quick turnaround, and we'll talk about the schedule moving forward, Joe, as you alluded to earlier, and it's even going to be quicker, almost like an NBA-type schedule, right? Which I think the players will love that. But, no, it was a quick 2-day turnaround, but obviously both teams are super familiar with each other. Style of play has changed a little bit for us and a little bit for them, quite honestly. Almost the flip. They went more pick and rolls, more spacing, more guard-centric. We've tried to throw it inside a little bit more this year than we have in the past, which is usually what they do. So we kind of flipped stylistically, but, oftentimes that game just comes down to toughness, and it comes down to a player or players stepping up and making plays. And obviously I thought Sincere Carey, I'll give him credit. I thought he was the best player on the floor.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Played well at both ends. One of probably the top 5 performances I've ever seen live as a coach in the MAC at either of the 2 stops I've been at, when you include what happened on the defensive end with him. I thought he was great defensively. And then you obviously work in concert with that 32 points and his ability to make plays for himself and for others. So I thought he was the real difference in the game.
You made an interesting comment after the game, Coach, that Kent State was not the same team you saw on tape against Northern Illinois.
Yeah, it wasn't even close. I mean,
Yeah.
And I knew that was going to happen. I mean,
Yeah.
when you play in these rivalry games,
Sure.
you're going to get their best shot, and they're going to play their best. Unfortunately, we did not play our best, but, give them credit. I think sometimes in sports, Joe, what happens is we all, hey, why'd you get beat or whatever, and it's always, well, pick on what you could do differently. And there are some things we can do better. There's no question. Sometimes you get beat.
Yeah.
The other team plays well, and I thought Kent played really well on the backboard. I thought their defense was really good, and then obviously Sincere Carey was spectacular.
Yes.
He looked like Steph Curry out there.
He did.
On offense, and then defensively, I thought he really caused a lot of disruption, as did some of their other guys on that end. So give them credit. I think oftentimes we want to point the finger at ourselves, and there are some things we need to do better. But I'm going to give credit where credit's due. They played really, really well, and deserved to win.
Let's go back up to the Mack Center. Friday night, nationally televised game, Kent against Akron. A lot of excitement in the building. A lot of Akron students up there. Coach had a lot of support.
Yeah, was that awesome or what? It's been. I tell you, and I've said this obviously after the game. Kudos to Charles and our administration for making the change and moving the students where they did in the jar. It's allowed us to be more engaged with them and them with us, and I want them to feel a part of what we're doing. I also want to, give kudos to those season ticket holders and those people that had those seats prior.
Yes.
That's not easy.
No, it's not.
I've been around reseatings, and that's never fun. And not everybody wins in that deal. But for the good of the whole, I think watching it now, it's as good as our student section's been since I've been here in 5 years. It's not even close.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited about that, and once again, give our administration credit. It was great to see them out, and we appreciate them coming. It was awesome. I wish we'd have played a little bit sharper and a little bit better, but we'll see them here again in another month or so, and hopefully we'll have the same, if not better, environment here at the Jar.
Okay, you watched the Kent Golden Flashes jump out to an early 6-0 lead, but the Zips respond, Coach, as we saw at the 7-0 run. Freeman gets the Zips on the board, then Xavier Castaneda with some long three-pointers early that got us back at the lead.
He did. He played well 2 games in a row. We just talked about that at the outset of the show. I mean, I think he's playing at a really high level right now. He's the one guy on our team that I think is doing that. We got to get some other guys a little sharper, and our team stuff a little bit sharper in terms of execution. But X has been terrific, both ends of the floor. Really happy with how he's playing right now, and we're going to need him to continue to do that.
Zips led by 4, 17-13. We're 9 minutes into the game, and then Castaneda has 11 of Akron's first 17, and then it's kind of a shootout in that first half, Coach, between Sincere Carey and Castaneda. They went head-to-head. I think Carey ends up with 13 in the first half, Castaneda with 15.
Yeah, both of them played really, really well, and I thought X was good again in the second half. Didn't have quite as many opportunities. Sometimes it works out that way. You're just trying to play the game that's in front of you and the possession that you're playing, trying to help your team get a great shot. I thought we settled a few times. Our execution was sloppy on offense at times, our screening, our cutting, our pace. We just got to be better with execution. Our want-to was there. Thought we were emotionally engaged. Our effort level was good. We just didn't perform as well as we needed to perform relative to Kent State. So, again, give them credit.
Yeah, a few seconds ago, you saw Enrique Freeman hit an off-balance shot. That was the last basket of the first half and cut Kent's lead down to 32-29. So you had a little bit of momentum at halftime.
We did, yeah. Obviously, it's a one-possession game. It could really go anyone's direction, and even as it started to play out in the second half, Joe, I want to say it wasn't until really that under 8 to under 4 area where the game got away from us a little bit. It was nip and tuck for the first 32 minutes. Right there for anybody to grab a hold of, and then they made the plays they needed to make, down the stretch, and unfortunately we didn't make enough of them. So we've got to learn from that and use it as a, learning experience and allow us to get better.
I think we tied it a couple times in the second half, Coach. We could really never get on a good run to get a little cushion.
No, we just weren't sharp enough.
Yeah.
Too many mistakes, right now, and so we've got to get more mentally engaged and be able to execute a little bit better than we have. Really, to be honest with you, over the last month, we've kind of mucked our way through it with some fight and some resiliency and some lack of continuity because of different reasons. And so now we've got to really make a push here to improve. And, we get a chance to practice a little bit this week, but we got to do most of it through games, right? And we'll talk about that as we move forward.
Yeah. As Coach Groce mentioned, the Flashers will be back in Kent in about 3 or 4 weeks. Hope you'll circle that one on the calendar and make sure we fill up the jar for that return with the Golden Flash. So we're going to take a break, come back with our weekly player awards right after this timeout.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes H-Jacks Plumbing and Heating. Find them at hjacks.com.
What we make right here at the University of Akron
holds up under pressure.
What we make climbs the ladder and leads to record highs.
What we make lifts us all.
And makes us all better.
With everything we make, everyone rises.
Well, each week we have our player awards, our player of the week, and our player on the rise. And Coach, our player of the week, no surprise, Xavier Castaneda had a great series against Ball State and Kent. He led the Zips in just about every offensive statistic this past week, had 29 points, 6 assists, 2 steals in the win over Ball State. Came back Friday night with 21 points and a perfect 8 for 8 from the free throw line. And right now he's playing his best basketball of the season.
Yeah, he definitely is, and he's getting more comfortable out there, Joe. That's the biggest reason. I think sometimes that happens. He transferred in from South Florida, and he has to learn, coaches are different. The system's different. Terminology's different. Yeah. He's playing with new teammates, and he's really a smart kid. He's picked it up quickly, and he started to get, where now it's, becoming second nature more to him. And he's playing really, really well. We're going to need him to continue to do that and see if we can get some other guys to pick it up a little bit.
He played high school basketball, I think, at Whitney Young in Chicago. When I was talking to him after the game a couple weeks ago, they won the state championship against one of the better programs in the country in Simeon. I'm not sure if you were at that game or not,
yeah,
but
I've
that's maybe the first time you saw him.
Yeah, I saw him win a state championship. He'd been on our campus a few times when I was at Illinois for games. And great family, great young man, and is really playing well right now. And the exciting thing for us is, we have him obviously this year and next year. And that was one of the attractive things, obviously, when we took him, was that, he had a chance to really impact our program over a 2-year period. So we're excited about that.
That Chicagoland area has been very good for you, Coach, over the years.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, not bad. Pretty good.
Yes, exactly. Hey, how about our player on the rise? Getting back after missing a couple games, Brian Trimble came back to the starting line after 2 games as he suspended. Responded with a 19-point effort against Ball State, Coach, and we need him at full strength if we're going to win this thing.
Yeah, no question. He's coming along. I mean, obviously, when he missed 20 days, that's a long time, and so I just appreciate the way he's worked to try to come back here, and obviously really impacted the Ball State game at a high level. Without his shot making, he and X's elite shot making in the second half, we don't probably win that game. So did some good things. Didn't shoot it particularly well against Kent. He'll shoot it better. He's too good a shooter with the type of looks that he had. And then we've got to do a good job as a team trying to create better looks for him, which gets back again, Joe, to what we were talking about earlier: execution, screening, cutting, timing, rhythm. Right now, ball movement. I just didn't think it was very good, in particular in the Kent State game. I just thought our quality of offensive possessions relative to theirs weren't as good, and so we've got some work to do there.
When he first got here, Coach, I thought Trimble was initially a catch-and-shoot guy, but he can create off the dribble, too. We've seen that this year a little bit.
Yeah, he did it against Ball State, right? And that's he and X both really made some tough pull-up jumpers. Those are typically harder shots, and they made some big ones. And X really did a nice job finishing at the rim against Ball State. So those 2-point field goals that you're maybe not as accustomed to seeing with Castaneda and Trimble, I thought were really the difference in the Ball State game.
Well, congratulations to those 2 young men. We're going to take a break. A very busy week coming up for Akron. We'll come back and talk about those games and more right after this.
Even if this is the 3-point line and this is the hoop,
if this is home ice, and this is sticking the landing. Kids will find a way to keep playing the sports they love, and we'll keep helping them. After an injury, Akron Children's is dedicated to getting your child back to the game as quickly and safely as possible, however they play it. Learn more at akronchildrens.org/sports.
The difference with Wentz Financial Group is that we do not have a cookie cutter answer to any of our clients' needs. Every day is completely different in the market, and every client situation is unique. We value the opportunity and responsibility to manage the hopes and dreams of our 3,000 customers nationwide.
Come see the difference Wentz Financial Group can make for your financial future. Wentz Financial Group. Investment management for your lifetime.
Well, a very busy week for the Zips, 3 games, and of course the big one will be over at Bowling Green on Thursday night, and then back home on Saturday night to take on a improved Eastern Michigan team. And Coach, let's talk a little bit about Bowling Green. That'll be a 7 o'clock tip-off up at the Stroh Center. They're off to a little bit of a rough start, but they still have a great nucleus of players. They're really good.
They're really good, very well coached. They're dynamic on offense.
Yeah.
And then they've had pauses and they've had some injuries really dating back to the beginning of the year, in particular at their guard spots. I remember watching them play Ohio State, and they had 2 guards out, starting 1 and 2. So I've started to get some more continuity and stability that comes with more reps, right? And more together days. And so they've had those. And I think, obviously they're more than capable, Joe, especially offensively. Yeah. Man, are they good. They play really fast. A lot like we talked about us having in the game 4 double-figure scorers and being versatile. BG is just that. They have multiple guys that can hit you for double figures. You always worry about transition defense when you play them. You always worry about the glass. And you always worry about their spacing and their ability to make plays in the pick and roll. And so we'll have to be really sharp defensively.
They had their rivalry game last week against Toledo. They're only down by 1 point at halftime against the Rockets, and Trey Diggs had 7 threes, I think, in the first half.
Yeah, she shoots it like Brian shoots it for us. You know, I mean, he's a phenomenal shooter and makes hard shots. Sometimes you just got to tip your hat to guys like him or Brian when they make hard challenge shots, but Diggs certainly has that ability.
Yeah. 8-8. They do have a game coming up this week before we see them Thursday night over in Bowling Green. But you take a look at some of the big wins they've had this week, Coach. They beat Duquesne, Oakland, and Miami in overtime. They've had some big wins.
Oh, they are more than capable because they're so explosive offensively, man. They can really hit you for 80 or 90 like that. So you got to be sharp defensively and try to impact shot percentage as best you can. And then offensively, we've got to make sure we take really good care of the ball. That's something we've emphasized. And we got to see if we can be a little bit sharper on that end of the floor like we've been talking about throughout the entire show.
7 o'clock Saturday night. Hope you're planning on being over at Rhodes Arena for Eastern Michigan. They came in with a new coach, Stan Heath, but not a new coach of the Mid-American Conference.
No,
former coach at Kent.
Yeah, obviously had tremendous success at Kent. I've known Stan for a long time and does just a great job, great guy. And you can tell, I've seen them on film a few times playing some of the opponents that we've been preparing for. And, man-to-man, which is different to see Eastern Michigan playing so much man-to-man, right? Farrakhan, their guard, is terrific, can get a shot whenever he wants, has the ability to make guys better. And like most Stan Heath teams, they're very tough on the backboard. They're very physical. They really compete. And so we'll have to be up for that challenge.
Yeah, Farrakhan's a transfer, but he had 27 points against Northern Illinois. They lost that game, I think, 77-70. So that'll be Saturday night at 7 o'clock. Hope to see you there. And Coach, we'll talk about 3 games next week when we're back with
3 of
Basketball Weekly.
Yeah, NBA-type schedule, right?
Exactly.
So I always say this, players love games, coaches love practice, and it's a player's world this week.
Exactly. Good luck, Coach. You're back here next week with more Zips Basketball Weekly. And always remember, go Zips.
Wentz Financial Group presents Zips Basketball Weekly with John Groce. Investment management for your lifetime. Brought to you by Akron Children's Hospital and Bryant Heating and Cooling. Thanks for watching, and go Zips!
This has been a presentation from Learfield,